Welcome to TSG Foundation's Wisdom of the Zodiac class and meditation. Today's lesson will be taken from Volume 4 of Wisdom of the Zodiac by Torquem Saradarian, and it will be Chapter 10 titled Capricorn, Illumination. We will begin with page 107. So open your books to that page, and let me start by reading the first two paragraphs that set the scene for us for the meaning of this month's full moon. So page 107. Many great ones came into incarnation in the Capricorn full moon. So that's an important statement right away, that great ones come into incarnation at this time because the wisdom of this period illuminates and expands and leads the lives of great ones. All of these great ones taught one thing: illumination. There's our keynote. What they taught can be synthesized into one word: awakening. So imagine awakening, illumination, great ones. What they taught can be synthesized into one word: awakening. They wanted to awaken humanity because they thought that humanity was sleeping under the blankets of their flesh. Isn't that true? How we are sleeping, all of us, all of humanity? Humanity needs to be awakened because they are sleeping. And there are lots of dangers. When we are asleep, it means we are closed to any information, any truth, any insights that may come to us to lead us into greater understandings of life. These great ones created maybe 40 religions and philosophies, and the real essence of all of them was to awaken people. So at this time of the end of the year, the holy days, we may think of my religion, your religion, my spiritual tradition, and your spiritual tradition, and the differences in them. But here he is bringing all of them together and saying they had one real essence, and that is to awaken people. In order to awaken, first of all, you must feel that you are sleeping. And it's very difficult for us to think when we are asleep, how do we know we are asleep? So let's look at that now. People think they are awake, but 99% of them are sleeping and living like sleepwalkers. We have no idea what we're doing. Because they are sleeping, they are inviting lots of pain, suffering, and disturbances. People are living in this agony and thinking that it is the way life should be lived. Now, if we look at our life, maybe our life is going really well, but look at the greater life all over the world. Do we see pain, suffering, and disturbances? We do in every level of human life. We see sometimes people having a great time, being joyful, everything is going well, but large numbers of humanity are really suffering now. And maybe we suffer in our hearts for them. So how do we take care of this great problem that human beings are suffering from, which is called asleep, being asleep and sleepwalking? So Torquem in this chapter 10 gives 7 steps that will take us to greater and greater awakenness. And I suggest at this time of the year, as we're ending this year and bringing on the new one, take 7 days during the full moon period. And interestingly, the full moon this year will be on Christmas Day, the 25th of December. So take 7 days, 3 before the day of the full moon and 3 after, and take each of those days and meditate on one of these. It will really help you awaken a little bit to the reality of your life, the reality all around you, and maybe take the steps to have greater awakeness next year. If you're ambitious, there are 5 additional steps at the end of the chapter that will take us to illumination, to the higher worldly truths. But don't attempt those until you really get those 7 down first. Okay, so let's start with the first one. Let's say it's day 1. It is 4 days before the full moon, and you take the first step. The first step is to awaken, is to know that you are asleep. How are you going to know that you are asleep? By the conditions of your life. Sit down and observe and say what I did today, how I felt today, the things that I said today, the things that I thought today, the habits. Were they the results of an awakened person, or was I really sleeping? Sometimes, have you noticed when you're driving down the street, all of a sudden you wake up. You think, now I wasn't watching that. What happened there? And so on. So you're going to awaken yourself. And he says your humanity needs somebody else to awaken it. Which means what? If you awaken and I awaken, we can help other people to awaken with our own conscious decisions on the causes of pain, suffering, and disturbances. So you are going to find out what is it that is going on in your life right now, and what are some of the things that are waking you. For example, you feel tired, you feel sick, you have an argument with your spouse or your family or your friend. These are little disturbances, but in larger humanity we get disturbances of terrorism, for example, people committing acts of violence against other people. We have floods, earthquakes, and so on. These are all ways to awaken us to the reality that's going on around us. So you're going to see that what life is telling you right now, and it's telling you, are you awake or are you asleep and sleepwalking? Look at page 108. Nothing is as important in life as awakening. That's the first step. How can we be awake to the higher worlds, to the truth, to the love, compassion, to the purpose in our life if we are asleep? We can't. You cannot drive from one place to another if you are sleeping. Of course not. So how are you going to travel from your little self to your higher self if you are sleeping? Okay, so the first step, the first meditation that you will do this month during the full moon, if you so choose, is to ask yourself, am I awake or am I sleeping? And at the end of this presentation, I will give us a step-by-step guided meditation that you can use for each of these seed thoughts. All right, so let's go to day 2. Second step in awakening is after you know that you are asleep. First, you really have to determine if you are asleep, and then what percentage you are asleep. Am I asleep 100%? I hope not. And you can say, am I asleep 5%, 10%, and then find out what that means. So if you know that you are asleep, next step is to educate yourself. Get some facts and truth. You must learn how you can educate yourself. How can we educate ourselves? By reading books, by meditating and thinking, by talking to learned persons, by making sure that we check the facts when we believe something on the news. You see, there's so much false information going around in the news every minute of the day by all countries and all governments. You are going to look at the truth. Find out what is the truth and educate yourself so that you are not sleeping by being gullible. You see, that's another way to understand. Am I awake and look at the truth, or am I sleeping and I'm so gullible that everything I hear, I believe? Okay, so you're going to educate yourself to truth. You're going to ask people of different religions, different cultures, different belief systems. What is their truth? How do they see the world? You see, with this, we educate ourselves in the culture of the world. Why is that? Because in truth, there are no more boundaries in the world. Okay, let's go to the third step. The third day, you are going to meditate on to know what caused you to sleep. See, there are many causes that make us asleep. For example, the way we were brought up, the way we were criticized, the way we were educated, the way we were shocked, and maybe we are asleep because we are sick, we are tired, we don't have any hope anymore or faith in the future. So find out what caused you to sleep. Was it something somebody did to you or said to you? Was it something that you believed is true when it's really not? So find the causes of your sleep and try to awaken yourself. This is so important. This is the third day you are going to meditate and ask yourself, what caused me to sleep? And really this is based on the fact that you discover that you are a little bit asleep. Okay, fourth day, the day of the full moon. Christmas Day this year. Here's the question you're going to ask. Find out how to communicate with higher minds. Wow. Just sit down on that day and say, how do I communicate with higher minds? Perhaps you pick up the book, Torkum's Teachings of Christ, Volume 1, The Birth of Christ. You read that and you think, how did he think these things? How did he write these things? Let me find out and meditate on it. Or you could say, Solar Angel, guide me to higher minds so that I can really swim in those higher vibrations and change the way I think. There are so many ways to communicate with higher minds, depending on your interest. If you're interested in art and painting, go and see the most beautiful paintings in the world. Turn on your computer and look at the galleries in the world. And maybe after Christmas, go to a gallery. Look at the beautiful paintings. If your interest is music, listen to the most sublime music. So communicate with the higher minds that created that music. In any field of human endeavor, read the best. Expose yourself to the best of the higher minds. And that would be such a great thing that you can do on the day of Christmas. Look at page 109, middle of the page. Every advanced man or woman stands for greater values, greater virtues, greater visions, and revelations. Listen to great speakers, great religious leaders, great politicians and leaders. Look and listen in every field of human endeavor and find the greatest to communicate with that higher mind. When you are engaged in those higher expressions, you are going to change yourself. Your brain will change, your mind will change, your emotions will heal, your physical body will feel more vibrant, because great men and women have vibrancy. In everything that they present, they have a vibrancy. If you fuse yourself with these values, virtues, and visions, you start awakening to higher values, okay? Unless you start accepting higher values, you will sleep in your former values. Look at what's happening in the world today. Great men and women are saying, let's go this way, towards compassion, inclusiveness, unity. The other smaller minds, minds who are asleep and don't want to wake up, say, no, let's not go there. Let's stay in our separatism and hatred and violence. You see how we can translate this idea of awakening or illumination in a number of ways. The day after Christmas, after the New Year, 5th day of awakening, here's your meditation seed thought. Try to expand your consciousness on higher planes. That might be difficult at first, but it's really not. Do you know what it means? Let me just give you some insight that I have. To be awake on higher planes, you have to quiet your physical, emotional, and mental bodies so that your soul, your human soul, the essence in you, has an opportunity to just relax and communicate with something higher. What is the higher in you? It's your solar angel. So you can take that solar angel meditation that I've given in the Virtues and Values books, and I think we've recorded that, and you can say, Solar Angel, how do you guide me to the higher values? What are those that I need to go to that is beyond what I've done now? Okay, the 6th step. The next, day number 6 rather, in your meditation, you're going to see what effect you have on other people. Okay, this is really important. This is page 110 that I'm reading from. Maybe your presence and your life are destroying a group. See, find out. Maybe your presence and actions in a group are creating magnetism. See, what is your effect in people? Maybe you are destroying your children. How do you destroy your children? Not just being negative and painful, but look at some of the subtle ways we destroy other people. Maybe you are building your children and your loved ones. Maybe you are channeling a tremendous amount of love and beauty to people. Maybe you are a walking ugliness. See, these are profoundly strong words that Torquem's using to awaken us to reality. Okay? He's saying, what is the effect that I have on other people, that you have on other people? We don't live on a vacuum. We don't live in a vacuum. Everything we say and think is a vibration. It's a radiance that goes out of us. So ask yourself, what do I radiate? Okay, in everything that I do. Look at the 7th step, day 7, and that's given on page 111. You're going to meditate yourself by asking. 7th step is to ask yourself where you are going. Where are you going in your life? Isn't this a wonderful time to stop and ask yourself, where am I going? The end of the year is coming. 1 year has completely finished. 2015 went by like a flash for me. And I ask myself, where am I going next? Did you ask yourself, what is the purpose of whatever you are doing? I have to ask myself that. What is the purpose of what I am doing so that I can continue and build on what I've done in the past? And the same thing for you. What have you done that needs to be built on? What have you done that needs to be dismantled and replaced with something different? So you are asking, where am I going? So that's the 7th step. So we're going to stop there, and I'm going to ask you to read the rest. They are beautiful. They are on pages 112 to 113, and he gives the 8th, 9th, and I think 10th, 11th, and 12th steps. So that's 5 more steps that you can take that will take you deeper and higher into illumination and awakening. And I wanted to just give this briefly to you today and not give too much information so that you can take these very serious seed thoughts and think about them and meditate on them. So now we're going to do the meditation from page 116, and I will guide you through the seed thought. And then when we are done with the seed thought meditation, I will do a brief visualization taken from page 126 of the same book. It is so beautiful. And so keep your eyes closed, breathe deeply and sit up straight, and really relax yourself, put all your worries aside, and we will begin by saying the great invocation. And as we say the great invocation, think of each paragraph and its strength and power to bring light, love, and purpose and direction to humanity and seal the door where evil dwells. Is there evil in the world? Well, you be the judge of that and find out how it is that you can have this great invocation have a great bearing on sealing the door where evil dwells. Okay, let's begin with the great invocation. Sit up straight, close your eyes, put a nice smile on your face. Take a deep breath. Exhale. From the point of light within the mind of God, let light stream forth into the minds of men. Let light descend on earth. From the point of love within the heart of God, let love stream forth into the hearts of men. May Christ return to earth. From the center, where the will of God is known, let purpose guide the little wills of men, the purpose which the masters know and serve. From the center, which we call the race of men, let the plan of love and light work out, and may it seal the door where evil dwells. Let light and love and power restore the plan on earth. Let us say 3 ohms in silence or out loud. Now meditate on the seed thought. The first step to awaken is to know that you are asleep. Keep your eyes closed with a smile on your face and answer the following question. What does it mean to be asleep, physically, emotionally, and mentally? Stay awake in your mind and answer this question. What does it mean to be asleep spiritually? Second part is, what does it mean to be awake, physically, emotionally, mentally, and spiritually? How is being asleep affecting my life? And if I awaken a little bit more, how will that affect my life? What does it mean for me to be awake a little bit more? What are some steps I can take this season for 7 days or 12 days to awaken myself? Think of practical steps, 5 practical steps. Take a deep breath and keep your eyes closed and stay in a meditative state. And repeat after me. Salutations to the light of the world, the Lord Christ. May His light enlighten our soul. Repeat after me. May the light which pours out from the central spiritual sun enlighten our souls and annihilate all that is darkness within us. Let that light lead us, energize us, heal us, protect us, and lead us. Visualize a great light leading you toward your path. Then broaden that light and see greater numbers of people following that light. And then see large numbers of human beings, all of humanity, following that light. Keep that image in your mind as we say together, more radiant than the sun, purer than the snow, subtler than the ether, is the self, the spirit within my heart. I am that self. That self am I. Imagine all of humanity saying, I am that self. That self am I. In this chapter, you can see that we have 7 plus 5 seemingly simple steps toward awakening us and finding greater illumination in our life. Do we need illumination? We certainly do. At this time of bringing light to the world through our Christmas trees and our lighted candles and the festivals of light that is celebrated all over the world in many religions and traditions, let us awaken a little bit more. Let us find the deeper meaning of that awakenness and see how we can bring more unity and peace and joy and love toward everyone in the world. I hope you enjoy these classes and you make good use of the wisdom of the Zodiac books. If you don't have these books, 4 volumes, give yourself a gift for Christmas. Order these 4 volumes and you will see how much they will feed you and awaken you month after month for years and years to come. They never cease to keep giving. It is the most beautiful gift you can give yourself. So thank you so much for joining me this year, and I wish each of you and your families a joyous holiday and very Merry Christmas and a blessed Christmas to you. May Christ shine and give birth to himself in your heart, and let that inner Christ that is in you shine out. And Happy New Year, and I hope to see you next time. Bye for now.